On days like this, I actually am going to have to use a hairdryer at some point. And I'm going to be...
On what?
My armpits. I'm going to be drying my shirt off, like, in the bathroom at some point. And I know, like, of course, when I do that, somebody of the most important person of the NFL will walk in the bathroom as I'm blow drying my armpits that are getting sweaty.
I hope the commissioner walks in while you're doing it.
He'll be like, see, I knew there was something wrong with you in your brain.
He already knew that.
He already knew. Yo, what's up? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Connor Rogers is here. Connor is right. They all know there's something wrong with my brain, no doubt.
Crazy apple.
Good to see you, dude.
Good
How
to
are
see you.
Yeah.
Mr. Owner's meetings.
Yeah, Mr. Owner. It's always fun. It really is.
It looks like a genuinely sneaky, underrated NFL event.
To me, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I went a year without going, and I kind of, to NBC a little bit, was like, hey, I want to go, like, just so you know, like, please, you know, and not that they were just discluding me, but we're doing shows, we're doing draft rankings. It's a busy time of the year for us, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, and so one year I missed, and I kind of was like, hey, I want to go. They're my buddies, a lot of these guys. It's a great chance to be in a really secluded environment.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what it's just different than the combine or other places where, okay, the combine, the whole league's there. This is like, it's a little unique, intimate crowd.
I think
it's only the GMs. It's only the head coaches. It's only the owners. And then it's some select media people. But, yeah, you can really see some old friends or whatever and go, hey, let's sit over here in the corner and hang out and have some laughs or whatever else. And that's what I love about it. I really do.
I just noticed how much more relaxed all the coaches are.
Well, it's a little bit of, I think, for the coaches, like, especially the young ones, it's like, I've made it.
Right.
That's
everybody's
kind of
dressed nice.
Right.
It's kind of prestigious event rather than
everything's
else.
set up perfectly. So you realize, I mean, the NFL puts on an incredible event for the owners meeting. They really do. I can't say enough about that. So I do think the coaches and the GMs, even the ones that have been like, I asked Shanahan and McVay, and just they were like, yeah, I mean, McVay is, it's year 15 and it's still awesome, you know what I mean? And so there is something special about that. And it's, of course, a cutthroat league. You don't know how long you're going to be there. And this is kind of the, hey, you're the most special of the special of our league, and the owners roll out the red carpet for the GMs and the head coaches, and that's why it's really cool.
And I feel like, too, it's a rare event that they've had a little time to recalibrate their brains.
Totally.
We go from, like, the season, forget it. You could see by the 8th week press conference, they're at the podium like, oh, my God, if I have to answer the same question four times in a row. Then you get to the postseason. Then you go, I mean, depending if they do Senior Bowl, but the Combine comes fast.
It all comes fast.
Really,
right.
really fast.
You're evaluating your own team. It's Combine. You're
they
starting to get
they have not had a break.
Not a lot of breaks, right.
No.
So this is a little bit of a break here, and a lot of them do have followed up with the break after, right? So it's a little bit like, hey, we're going into a 5 or 6 day window here, so where they can relax. They're not like, wait, I'm going to have fun at the owners meeting, and then I got to wake up early one day and grind the next day, right? So it's a little bit of that. There definitely was a bunch of teams where it was like, oh yeah, no, we're taking the rest of the week off this week, or we're back in the office next Monday. And all these coaches for the most part. I mean, they're psychos, and I had some laughs yesterday with Shanahan on air on PFT because he's like, yeah, it's great. We all get to be each other and talk a little bit, but we all want to slash each other throats,
of course,
still, right? And so there's that. But having a drink with the wives being close by, the pool, it relaxes everybody, and it is a really cool thing to be a part of. And here's the video right here. I mean, this is the Mike Tomlin, Jay Glazer head coaches drink by the pool party.
Day party.
Yeah, day party.
Turn back the clock to college.
This has been going on for quite some time, okay? Been privy to kind of stop by here and there before, but usually, like in years past, when I would see a Mike Tomlin or a Shanahan or a McVay, and they'd be like, hey, come to the bar, man, hang out with us. I've kind of always been like,
because it's their fraternity.
Yeah, I just don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. This was and so this year, everything was so close together. And I literally had just seen Kyle and McVay a few minutes before that, and they're like, dude, would you stop being such a wimp and just come and I was like, okay. So I got done with the day, and was sitting there. You see me in my high chair that I'm sitting there.
That's
in the
best
background.
part.
Well, I was sitting right next to Kyle, and then I got up to say, I got up to say hello to a few coaches, and Matt Ryan just sat in my seat and he took it over. So I was like, okay, you're Matty Ice, you're president of the football.
We'll allow.
Yep. So you're allowed it, but it is cool, and to get around and see them, all get loose a little bit. Hear Sean Payton tell stories because he's an incredible storyteller. McVay's on the other end, holding shop, telling stories. He's incredible like that.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a lot of cool little private conversations. So it's a very cool event. And then followed that night that starts the whole party day, really.
It doesn't stop.
Well, it goes from there until and then you go to the cocktail party. And so I was very big into that moment there because I had been working and I was giving them all a hard time. Like, some of us are working here today,
While others just roll around in their green suits.
But I was literally like, can you guys pace yourself? Pace yourself. I want to hang out later tonight, and I know I have to go to the hotel and change and do all this, and I want to come back, and I want to make sure you guys make it. But they all made it, and we had a good time.
That's awesome, man.
Michael Phelps was there.
Yeah.
Did you see him sitting there?
I didn't the first time I watched it. So I sent it in our group chat. I was like, look at Simms just in the middle of everybody right now. I didn't catch that Michael Phelps was also the other non-coach.
He was the other
group.
non-coach.
What a collection of people.
Seriously. I think Michael Phelps, he was like, I don't know. I've seen you before, but I don't know who the hell you are. But he was really cool. And everybody, when you're as great as Michael Phelps.
I mean, arguably the greatest American athlete of all time.
Everybody wants to pick your brain and kind of hear what you're all about. But, it was a very cool event. Jalen Rose, 20 seconds after that video, he walked up all of a sudden. I was like, what? Jalen Rose, what's up? What the hell are you doing here? I don't even know what was going on. But very cool event and always good to see everybody. And to me, that's kind of one of the other official starts of the league year again, right? To where you're just like, okay, here we go. It's 2026 football, 2025's in the rear view. Let's move forward.
Because we got the first couple weeks of free agency are done. Yeah. Everybody's talking draft every day, which is what we're going to do today. We got the edge rankings coming up. This is a great group. So everybody is just kind of right in the middle of it. Cy22 in the chat said, missed you guys the past 2 days. We missed you too. We're happy to be live. We'll be live today. We'll be live tomorrow.
Yep.
And then next week we'll be on our normal Monday, Wednesday,
we'll be
Thursday.
back. We'll be back to it next week. I think this is the last time I got to travel for some period of time. So we'll be in a good routine here leading right up into the draft, after the draft, the coverage there, all of that. So, and I hated it too. I feel like we had a little momentum going with our 10 a.m. show. But again, that was a necessary thing for me to go out there. I do feel like it has a lot of value. Just to, again, like I tell you, being in front of people, talking ball. The other thing I come across, and the GMs, of course, are extremely far along in the draft and all that. But you still, like we always talk about too, so many of them are just in the middle of it right now, right? They're like, oh, I've only watched, this many guys so far. So it is crazy. So I'm stressed, and I said that to a few of them sometimes, and they were like, so am I, actually. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. So good. I was glad to hear that.
Well, I think it makes you feel a little better. We got a couple weeks left. Yeah. I think probably for a lot of GMs this time of year, they haven't had the meetings with all their area scouts for the round 6 and 7 guys to slap them on the board.
Exactly.
And then an area scout might stand up and be like, this 6th rounder should be a 3rd rounder. And then everybody has to kind of battle to see where he lands. That's probably the part they can't really.
The GMs are right. They're at that. And they're at the part of hey, we know the top guys, but we usually how it works is you get down to the last 2 or 3 weeks before the draft and it's okay, it's the top guys. Now let's nitpick. Right. Is number 15 really the number 7, right? You know what I mean? And then that's when boards really start to get figured out because now you got the GM who's kind of lays it out there, and now the deep conversations come between, let's just say, head coach and an offensive coordinator, and they're now like, wait, you got this guy 4 and this guy 8 and this guy 12, but I think this guy that you got a 12 is, man, let's go back and watch him. Let's look at him. I'm telling you, there's this and this that he brings to the table, and then he goes from 12 to 6, and all of a sudden the guy at 4 goes to 9, and so that's where I think we're about on the precipice of for a lot of these coaches and what they're doing right now.
One of the funnier things is the and this comment has to do with Yuri Psycho. Will we have the ranking of the strongest coach quarterback duos if they all got fighting? Is the picture.
Yeah.
The picture every year is absolutely hilarious because you kind of don't realize sometimes who the bigger coaches are. Like Joe Brady next to LaFleur, I was like, I forgot Joe Brady is.
Joseph Brady's a big dude.
He's a big guy.
He definitely is.
But because he was like a boy genius at one point, we think him as like the smaller, nerdy position
he's up
coach.
there on the box and he's on the screen.
Yeah,
he's not that big.
He might have his glasses on, or you never know.
There's Joe Brady there on the bottom right, though, like you're talking about, next to Kevin Stefanski and the LaFleur brothers. Which was a cool thing for the LaFleur brothers to be together.
That is special.
I mean, really special, totally. But recently we've seen Kevin O'Connell and Dan Campbell usually stand in the middle and the back. Somewhere near Shane Steichen there. Got a chuckle yesterday. Yeah, you see Saleh and Liam Cohn are on opposite sides of the picture. That's great.
That is perfect.
When we had Shanahan on the show yesterday, he came on and I was like, oh, so wait, so Saleh and Cohn, they're just, everything's good there? And he was like, yeah. He's like, they're kind of soft. They hugged it out too early. We wanted them to fight more.
That would have been awesome if it just kept going. It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Who's the strongest GM head coach?
Yeah.
The problem is the pairings are kind of perfect. Like, look at the size of Sirianni in that picture, but Howie's a small guy.
Yes.
So, like,
right.
Vrabel, but I would consider probably Elliott Wolf as the de facto GM.
Yeah,
he's not a big guy.
He's not a big guy.
So all the big coaches have smaller GM pairings.
I've never taken the GM into the account. This is a new thing. We've usually done quarterback and head coach, right? We've done that. But GM, maybe that's a new angle we take a little bit.
I don't know how big Brad Holmes is, but Dan Campbell's a monster.
And Brad Holmes is pretty big.
Detroit,
and he's got a little Detroit's they're kneecap biters.
Yeah,
so all the way
scary.
through, straight up. Yeah, the quarterback thing, maybe we'll do that later on in the offseason. We get into June, a little bit of the slow time. Me and Connor knows something about strength and lifting weights and all that. Maybe we'll rank the toughest coach quarterback duos.
the head coaching picture at the owners' meetings is one of my favorite moments of the offseason.
So and then
I think it's hilarious.
So apparently this year it was like kind of a loose, like, hey, we're gonna do it around this time, and there was no definitive thing.
I think McVay missed it.
McVay, I asked him, I go, 15 years is cool. Have you ever missed the coaching picture? And he goes, I missed it today. He goes, I've never missed it ever. He goes, I was doing stuff. I did a few media things, and they were like, hey, we took the coach's picture, and he didn't know.
Somebody's got to call him.
And out of this, the crazy part is Les Snead missed his first time in like 20 years for him. So I don't know what happened.
No, Todd Monken.
Todd Monken.
Which that one, like, I'm not shocked.
Well, he was getting a haircut, but the same kind of thing.
Yes, perfect.
It was the same kind of thing. He was like, they didn't really tell us an exact time, and then all of a sudden they gathered everybody up, and I wasn't available. So, yeah, pretty funny there, but nonetheless, always a cool event.
All right, we got Edge rankings today. Yep. This is a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell you were like, who am I going to leave off? Like,
it's hard.
It's stressful.
It's
stressful.
It's a great group. I want to give due credit to all the guys, and what I look at as young men that are out there right now. And yeah, this is what we've been talking about for the last 5 weeks. Is that these edge pass rushers is there's depth, there's talent, there's a little bit of variety in what you want, and it was not easy to rank, and it was not easy to come down with a final 5 and leave a few guys off. Where I go, man, like I said to you before the show, I just feel like we got to say something about these guys, but we might wait till tomorrow. We'll see how long we go here.
I mean, the athleticism in this group every year is becoming more insane.
Yep.
I remember at the Super Bowl when we had Orlando Brown Jr. on, I asked him, I was like, in your career, like, have you noticed the change? And he was like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Every year, they're just bigger, faster. I would usually say have more length, but this class is kind of a weird one where some of the super athletes do not have any length,
I know.
which has created incredible conversations.
Definitely.
Before we fast forward to this year's, I do want to revisit last year's.
Cool.
You had Abdul Carter, number 1, which I think was pretty consensus. Shamar Stewart, number 2. Mike Green, number 3.
Yep.
James Pierce, number 4, and Donovan Ezeraku, number 5.
Yeah. Well, you look at that. If you wanted to re-rank it, all right, Shamar Stewart was my guy that I know I was a little higher on than everybody else. Certainly didn't get off to a great rookie year start.
Well, so, it started a
disaster.
Like, couldn't get him into camp.
The whole thing. What we've talked about. It was not the exact environment you want your top 20 pick to come into and go, hey, welcome to the NFL. So, yeah, he was behind the 8 ball from the start. James Pierce is the guy that you go, whoa. He probably should have been number 2, right? I mean, if we're just going to look back at it, certainly performance rookie year,
Right.
I don't give a shit, all right, everybody. Abdul Carter was the best rookie pass rusher last year. Don't look at the sacks. Don't look at that. If you went back and watched film and watch him get after the quarterback, the pressures, and the fact that he didn't get to play outside and rush from the edge for a big part of the year and he had to rush inside, he was still the best pass rusher out of the rookie class. But James Pierce did challenge him, no doubt. We saw moments from Mike Green, from Marshall, who was a first-round talent. We all know that.
Right.
There was just the off-the-field stuff that knocked him out of that. And then Donovan Ezerique, at the end of the year, he kind of came about too. And I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing Dallas maybe not be too totally crazy aggressive at getting the pass rusher, because they do like him and what he can do there. But, yeah, that was a pretty good group last year, and I left off Jalen Walker, which was a controversial thing. And I know, again, he was a good player. He didn't have a great pass rushing year, but he's a good freaking player. There's no doubt.
And he's kind of going through that transition of just living on the edge
Yeah.
rather than playing off the ball.
Exactly.
And, yeah, you're right about Carter. I mean, it's the numbers, the underlying numbers are insane.
They're insane, right?
I mean, he had 43 hurries and 18 quarterback hits, 5 technically sacks if you go by PFF's metric of grading sacks.
Yeah.
But that means, like, if he converts at just a little higher clip, he's going to be a double-digit sack guy in year 2.
Yeah.
And he's going to be.
I would expect that.
Yes.
I would expect that he supplants Kayvon Thibodeau as completely being the edge starter, to where he's going to get a lot more opportunities off the edge. He's a special football player. And like you said, the metrics or whatever, I knew they would be off the charts. Because if you watch it, and I watched it closely during the year, where you just go, wait, he's this close. I mean, the pressure is incredible. He's got some of the best get-off. He's one of the most explosive guys in football. It'll work out this year, and we'll see. We'll see if we got a guy like that in this class here. We got a little of everything, and I do think we actually got a guy in this class that's kind of like that, actually.
Well, we'll introduce your number 1 edge prospect with the This Changes Everything moment, brought to you by Universal Orlando Resort, who's changing everything you know about vacations. Number 1, Chris, is a guy we've already talked about.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I know. And it's a little bit of a projection, but
Without
it's
a
the
doubt.
one I feel the most comfortable with. I don't really have any doubt, and it's Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. Arvell Reese, plain and simple, he might be the best player in the draft. Again, I'm not done with it, but he's in that conversation. I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything groundbreaking.
No.
But
Some people will see it that way.
But I mean, there's time I turn it on and I'm just amazed by it. First off, with Arvell Reese, he's a little raw as a pass rusher, but the things he's raw with, you go, well, they're all coachable. This is not something you're like, oh, it's a physical deficiency. And to me, his get off, all right off the bat, he has the best get off in the whole draft. Now, within get off, I mean his first step, his explosion. He doesn't get off on time all the time.
I was just going to say that.
Yes.
Imagine if he did.
Exactly. So that's where the experience in, like, him just having to play defense end more than 12 plays a game, and him doing that, and him learning, wait, let me listen to the cadence. Ooh, let me look at the little clues when I put my hand on the ground when he's going to snap the ball so I can get off. Because there's a number of plays where you go, he got off last because he's standing and he's looking around, he's making it. But yet when he takes off, you go, holy crap. I mean, his explosion is unreal. He gives me a lot of vibes of the guys we just talked about, and Micah Parsons. I really feel the same. When I watch him, I feel they have a lot of the same mannerisms, and their just twitchiness and their explosion and their ability to do it so many different ways and be physical is incredible. And Reese, I think, has incredible bend. You don't get to see it a ton. You got to sort through it a little.
Right.
We talked about the bag thing last week at this pro day. I think he approached it like a linebacker. But, like, again, you see plays where you go, that's unbelievable, Ben. Like, that's incredible what he did there. And then you add that to the speed, the explosion, and then the quick feet to be able to turn the corner and do that stuff too. Yeah, for me, that's why Arvell Reese is number 1.
And back to the whole bag drill gate.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he posted his own workouts going on, or his coach did, somebody.
Sure.
And it looked a lot different.
Somebody told him, hey, dude, we want you to do pass rush bags now. Unlock this.
I mean, he was flying around.
He flies.
Yeah.
He jumps off the screen as much or anybody in the whole draft at any position. When you turn on the screen and you kind of just go, wait, let me just watch the front 7 of Ohio State. You can, without, like, if you're squinting your eyes and without seeing numbers, you know who Arvell Reese is. He's the guy that is moving the fastest, the most frantically. And then on top of that, his power is insane. His power is insane for his size, and his size is only going to go up.
It
like we
defies
kind of talked about.
like the law of physics.
It really does.
Yeah.
And his ability to collapse the pocket and push people back that way. And again, if he continues to get to do that and then also learn some other things on top of that, which from everything you hear, the guy's a top-notch guy, student of the game type of guy. Yeah, he's the guy I felt most comfortable about staking my name or putting my name on a list to go, no, this is to me our new Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter coming in the NFL, and I'd almost be shocked if it didn't work out that way.
He had 115 pass rush snaps this year, so you don't have a huge sample to work with.
No.
But, I mean, I get it why teams are looking at it this way. Because his hands, when they get under pads, he controls everybody. Like, when I saw him do it, he did it against a tight end against Purdue, and I was like, he looked like a bully trying to hang him on like a coat rack.
Yeah.
Then when he does it against a tackle,
exactly,
it doesn't make any sense how he does it. I think everybody's so caught up in if he's going to learn the finesse side of rushing. But if you can rush with power and you're athletic enough to learn how to rush,
that's it.
That's where coaches are probably looking at it differently than people are like, I don't want to project a player.
Yeah, no.
Because he's also 20 years old.
I think with kids like this, like you're right. They know the guy. They're going, this isn't really a projection. This guy, we just got to teach him.
Has to do it.
He's got it. We're not worried about it. This guy can do that. And, yes, the speed, if he starts to learn all of that and everything off of that and really knowing how to attack upfield and get off the ball that way, his speed to power is going to be the best in the draft. He doesn't even really use any other spin. He doesn't do a spin move, really. He's very beginner level.
Yeah.
But there's going to be people in the NFL that like that. They're going to like that. They're going to go, wait, he still gets to the quarterback and does that. He doesn't even learn anything.
Yeah.
Right? He hasn't done anything. The other thing that he's incredible at is, of course, I always use this phrase, is he can win with quicks. I mean, again, his ability to be a little bit of a jitterbug and get tackles like, oh, wait, is he going inside or outside, is incredible. The other thing that's incredible is when he loops or stunts.
Right.
And his ability and how quickly, again, because he's such an incredible, twitchy, explosive athlete, how quickly he can plant his foot in the ground, go, okay, defensive tackle, you go, and I'm going to plant my foot in the ground and cut off your butt and fly upfield at the quarterback. It's like you think you're in fast forward when you watch it. He's so explosive that way. At least it looks that way to me. I hope it looks that way to you.
I love him.
But I sit here and go, this guy is 6'4", 1/8", 241. When he'll be 246 by the start of the season, and by next year he'll be 251 or 252, built out of stone, and he's going to be like, oh, watch out, here he comes. Kind of like we were just talking about Abdul Carter a few minutes ago.
I mean, he will basically be built like Will Anderson in a year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which is,
and I think he actually even has a little bit of a wider frame than Will Anderson, right? Just the broad shoulders. But yes, and to your point, with his hands and his power that way, and his ability to disengage or push tackles around. Yeah, I just look at Arvell Reese, and when I watched it back yesterday a little bit, because I was like, let me just go through this. Let me look one more time and read my notes. Let me look at a few plays just so I'm like, okay, it was my mind's eye, still remembering it the right way. And when I got done, I just went, man, I don't give a damn that Arvell Reese only had 6 sacks and only 115 pass rush attempts. He's the guy to me. He's the guy. He's the best stand-up linebacker. He's the best edge rusher. I would think he's the best defensive player. I'm not done with all the defensive guys yet, but I would think it's hard to beat him. For me right now, other than he's in the running for the best guy in the draft altogether.
We got a lot of great comments of the homies weighing in. Long Raider Knight said, it's going to have to be studied why Ohio State didn't win this year's Natty with the talent.
Yeah,
it's perplexing. Coach Cam J said his body is Greek goddish, pop in his hands, super speed for an edge guy, smart player. I really agree with that, and has versatility. I don't think there's any way he doesn't go to the Jets.
I thought about you a lot yesterday. As I sat there watching it, I was just like, I mean, if I'm the Jets, there's no freaking way I can pass him. I can't pass him up. There's just, again, this is one where I think the versatility is a positive.
I totally agree.
It's just not like we've talked about Isaiah Simmons and other guys where you're just like, ooh, I'm not sure because it's good here and it's good here, but where's he great at and how are we going to make this work? This is like, oh, he's great here? Oh, shit, he's great there too. Right. Okay. We'll work on it, and we'll see where it goes. And he's going to be on the edge, but then you're going to have a few plays where they're going to go, stand up, roam around, Maybe a running down on 3rd and 2. They don't know. Whatever. They might run. They might toss it. Stand up. Go get the guy. Whatever. He's awesome, and I think he is going to go number 2 to the Jets.
They need difference makers, and this guy can be a legitimate difference maker, like you said, Chris, in multiple alignments.
Yes.
Like stand-up edge, off the ball. There's times where he rushes more in the interior like we've seen with Abdul Carter.
I know.
And you brought up the loops. And I just picture Aaron Glenn watching him, and it's like, how do you not?
Yeah, and the motor's amazing.
Yeah.
Again, this is your chance, Aaron Glenn, to get your Aiden Hutchinson, right? Aiden was a bigger guy, but not as explosive as Arvell Reese.
But get your defense off the field.
Defense off the field. Right. That's the type of guy he can be, and he could be the what do I want to say? The marquee player of your defense for years and years to come.
A defense that just doesn't have one right now.
Yeah.
ITF 96. This is a good question.
Yeah,
cool. It's been a lot of the broad chatter. Where does Reese play the majority of snaps his rookie year? Does it change if he's drafted by the Jets, Cardinals, Titans?
I think it does a little bit.
Me too.
It's a valid question. If the Titans, I think the Titans would just go, get out wide, and your defense end every play. And then don't worry about much, actually, just like you talked about with Will Anderson. Just get out there, put your hand to the ground, and we want you to just go zoom to the quarterback. Don't worry about anything else. I do think if he plays with the Jets, that'll be a little bit more of I could see them moving him around at first.
They definitely will.
I could see that for sure.
Carl Dunbar, I know Aaron Glenn at the owners' meetings.
More versatile scheme than Salah.
Play different fronts. Also, I mean, Jamien Sherwood was not good last year.
Yeah.
Like if there's a world where it's like, okay, we have DeMario Davis, but on this down, Arvell, you're going to play next to DeMario in the middle. Oh, now it's 3rd and 8. Arvell, you're rushing.
Yeah.
Like, don't think about anything.
Exactly right.
You and Will McDonald are pretty wide and just rush.
I kind of think I look at it to be I really think if he's with the Jets or the Cardinals, I feel like it'll be more of like what we saw in Micah and Dallas' first year.
That's right, hybrid role.
Hybrid role. He's played stand-up linebacker because he's great at it, and he's always played that, and he's comfortable there. And then we just slowly kind of bring him along. Yeah, 2nd and long, he's playing defense end. 3rd and 7, he's playing defense end. But, 2nd and 4, no, let's put him back in the middle in the scrum and let him just go get the guy with the ball and do that. I think it's going to go like that and then slowly transition unless he goes to a Seattle scheme type of defense, which would be D'Amico or Robert Saleh. But I sit here and go, I'd be shocked if he's on the board at number 4 for the Titans. Yeah.
K Gemma 89 said, watch Arvell Reese get the first interception of the Aaron Glenn regime.
That would be amazing.
That would be pretty ridiculous. It'll be like Tavondre Sweat. That's how it'll be. It'll be a tip pass and like a 350-pound player catches it, and Aaron Glenn's coaching at tenure finally
Aaron
gets
Glenn,
interception.
I talked to him a little this week. It
seemed more relaxed in this environment than the last year he had.
I think so. And I think we had the conversation that you and I have had about the Jets. I think he finally has guys that he feels like they fit what I want to do. So now I can play defense the way I want to do. I think last year he kind of had to mix things up and do some things that he didn't want to do because he's like, wait, I don't have a space eater defensive tackle here that can 2-gap, so I can't do things the way I want. And I think things like that came about to where the personnel is going to fit his scheme more, and I think he's excited about that.
Arvell Reese, linebacker number 1, edge player number 1. If you're wondering, last year Travis Hunter was wide receiver 1 for you, Chris, but not DB number 1.
No, this is a different
Arvell
level.
Reese is in pretty unique territory here.
He is.
But this class is much deeper than Arvell Reese. Edge player number 2, the monster that is Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami.
I love Ruben Bain Jr. I mean, I absolutely love him. I don't know what else to say. I know the arms are short, but I feel there's plenty enough here to overcome that. One, he's deceiving. I mean, first off, let's start. His legs, okay? His freaking legs, and look here. I mean, this picture behind me. I mean, his left thigh is the size of my torso. I mean,
an oak tree.
It's an oak tree. His power is unreal. So he's got some of the best legs out of any edge guy here. He's unique in how he's built, right? First step. All right, so I started my report, and I was kind of like, hey, the first step's real good. It's not wowing. I got into it a little low as went through games. I started to go, I'm taking back what I said earlier about the first step. It's deceiving because it's a power. It's power and long, and, of course, he's big and raw and like that way, where Arvell's this is speed, fast guy, and you're like, damn, he looks like he's Odell Beckham Jr. coming off the edge almost. You know what I mean? So it's a little different look altogether. But the more you watch, the more you start to go, no. His first step is real. He scares people upfield. He really does. He has incredible explosion in those short areas there. So you see that. But then, as you go, it's the speed to power, I think, is the first thing that jumps out. You see that and you go, oh, well, okay, he can threaten people upfield. And then the way he can just manhandle whoever it is, and he got to play some big-time tackles and teams that had really good offensive lines and, played some of his best football. So he's got that. Then, off of that, he's got very good hands. I mean, he's got really good hands to – not that they're overly advanced, but you could tell Jason Taylor's taught him a few things of swatting the hands or doing this or whatever else. And so he's good there. But the last part of the puzzle was at 6'2", 263, the way he looks, okay, the speed's, damn, okay, that's good. Whoa, the power is good. But guy like, can he bend? Oh, okay. Whoa. I mean, I would say this is the most consistent best bender in the draft. That would be mine.
It's shocking.
There's one other guy on here that we'll talk about in a few minutes where I'd go, his bend's pretty damn good too. But yes, he can do like what we talk about, get in a position where you're down here and like his right shoulder's by his right knee and somebody's pushing on his back and he can still turn the corner. So Ruben Bain, unbelievable pass rusher. And then on top of that, like Arvell Reese, maybe even more, he's physically violent. He does not give a hell. He does not give a shit. He throws his body around. He puts his body in compromised positions to make plays. I always talk about that, right? Where he's being blocked, the running back's coming by him, and he kind of throws himself in front of the train. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And
you're like, damn, you're going to take a big hit, but he's like, screw you. You're going down right here. And I love that about Ruben Bain. He never loses, and I'm big into that too. His worst plays are stalemates. So I think he's NFL ready, big time. Screw his arms. This is one of the best pass rushers in the draft. If it isn't for freak Arvell Reese, he's the number one pass rusher of the class.
I thought that when I was watching him, I was like, man, imagine being in front of this guy for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
By the third quarter, you're like, I cannot wait for this game to end. He's just wearing me out.
He brings it. He brings it. He's got a good motor. I'll say my only thing with him, my biggest negative, is that I worry about him dying out if he has to play too many snaps, or he needs a break every now and then. Maybe endurance,
his style of play.
His style of play, and then he's thick and he's so physically powerful and all of that. I felt like there were some times where I was like, oh, he's a little tired right here, And in the NFL, they're more conscious of that in college and rotating you and getting you out so you're fresh and being able to do that. But I'm telling you, out of all the things you could talk about, that's all you could talk about. Anything power related was elite. And then you started to get all the great pass rush stuff on it, and you were like, oh, wow, this is a complete football player. And this is why, again, I know a lot of people have David Bailey high up there, and he's coming. Don't get me wrong. I love David Bailey. I'm not trying to – but I think this is a more complete football player too. So that's where I give Ruben Bain the edge over maybe some of the other guys we're about to talk about here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get enough credit for how aware he is against the run.
Totally.
Like, it's always like guys that are so violent, and you brought up the heavy hands that kind of jolt blockers. Sometimes they're so violent that they go head down and just want to kill the guy in front of them. When he understands when the run's developing, it's like, okay, jolt, but head up. Where's the block developing? And like you said, jump in front of the train. That's really difficult.
He's got instincts
when you're so
and
much
knows how to
power.
play. Exactly.
Yes.
He keeps his eye. He got good eyes in the backfield, which tells you the game moves slow for him because he's special. So that's where. And then the other thing, and I think you're like this too. Hey, I'm into you got to be able to be pliable and win in awkward positions. And he's another one of those guys that could be like, oh, no, I'm stuck. The tackle's got me. And then he kind of finds some way to get up and get out of it, and he makes a tackle. And that's life in the NFL. That's life in the scrum. You're standing here, your head up on the guard. All of a sudden, oh, no, it's a double team. The tight end and the tackle hit me, and you're kind of stuck in some weird position where some guys will talk about. I go, no, they get pushed down the field. Ruben Bain kind of just, oh, wait, I'm not going to move anymore, and he finds a way to kind of make a play still. So that's where he's just absolutely amazing. I was blown away by him and love him, and I know the arms are a thing, but I can't see anything Like there's other guys that we've talked about off air where I go, no, his arms are a problem.
Yeah.
I don't come away with Ruben Bain thinking that at all because there's so much other things he can bring to the table to stress out, the pass protection.
Dom DeBomb said, Ruben Bain, are you as concerned as everyone else on his arm length? He seems to be an outstandingly hard worker with a great attitude.
Yeah, no, I mean, the arm length thing is definitely, on your radar and concerning. But at the same time, I think when you have the ability to win so many different ways, and the fact that he'll be able to scare linemen upfield, and then he's got very good ability for a big guy, too, to kind of change directions and loop under or stress you upfield and then take the underneath rush, too. So with that, and then, of course, his just pure outright power, no, I think that's going to make up for the concern from the arm. That would be arms. That would be my assessment. And I'm into the arm thing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
it
usually
matters.
one that's kind of like, but I think there's enough here to go, no, it won't be an issue with this type of football player here.
So Ruben Bain's arm length has been a big discussion. For context, now there's a lot of discourse over the measuring system this year.
Yeah.
He came in at 30 7/8. Say there was some problems with the measurement and he's more 31 plus. The guys that have been successful that are in this range, Carl Lawson was 31 and a half.
Yep.
There's another one here that's pretty key.
Carl Lawson,
Trey
somebody
Hendrickson.
who talked to me about him this week, and they said he reminds me of Carl Lawson.
His
Now,
leverage.
His leverage. I think he's better than Carl
Yeah, I
Lawson
think
was
so,
coming
too.
out of Auburn. Carl Lawson had knee injuries and was
He
a
had a
little
cracked hip, I
underdrafted.
think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But I know what they're saying there. So, yeah, I hear that.
Trey Hendrickson had 32-inch arms, and then a guy we just talked about earlier, Aiden Hutchinson, was only 32 and an eighth.
So there you go. So, but again, the ability, Aiden can bend.
Yeah.
Aiden can put his foot in the ground and really turn the corner.
6'7", 3'3" cone for Aiden.
Exactly.
Which is
Incredible.
ridiculous.
Right? And then Aiden can win with quicks. He can do that and get you leaning one way. And then, of course, he has speed to power. And so that's where you start to go, wait. As long as they have other ways to win and stress you, and it's not just about power and length all the time, you go, oh, okay. If you don't have to rely on that all the time and you got other ways to do it, it's definitely not as concerning, at least not in my book. So, yeah, this is an awesome player. I think he's one of the safest picks in the draft, too. That would be the other thing I would tell you. Not only is it he has an incredible high ceiling, he's got a very high floor. And that, to me, is, where you want Ruben Bain on your football team.
One Change, One Piece said, hey, Chris and Connor, do you think power rushers are a little overrated because of how strong NFL tackles are?
No, it can go different ways there. I think what I would tell you really, and we've kind of had this conversation, is I think we underestimate the power rushers more times than not when they come out. We're always into where's the fast, sexy guy?
Yeah.
Where's the fast, sexy guy? But then you get to the NFL and you go, whoa, the tackles move their feet pretty good. And you're not just going to win with speed all the time. And so when you don't win with speed, these guys eat you up that way. You got to have the power. You got to. And that's whether it's Aiden or Danielle Hunter, of course, was a huge giant man. I'm looking at other guys on here. Josh Sweat is a huge giant man. Brian Burns is a long, freakish type of guy. Myles Garrett's 270. So, one of my things is I do think we underestimate the bigger power guys at times. And maybe that's why I swayed this way a little bit here. But there's just no weakness to him. And I think this is going to be an awesome football player.
Big Bash 8 said, does Bain project better going to a team with an established pass rush, or will he be okay being the focal point of the pass rush as a rookie, kind of like Carter last year coming out with Burns and Tibbs?
Yeah, no, I don't think you have to worry about it either way. I mean, you're going to get, like we talked about with Arvell Reese, a really good football player regardless. I don't think you need to worry about, okay, he's the main guy. I mean, teams, offenses, they're going to evaluate it for what it is. And, if you're a problem and you're a consistent problem, you're going to get a little more attention. If not, okay, you won't. Hopefully he can have somebody on the other side that can balance that out for him. But I'm going to be interested to see where Bain goes, because I could see Arizona maybe liking a Bain. I don't know if a Robert Saleh.
That's the one I'm fascinated by. Because
like that? I don't know.
If he would have to view, it's weird because they just brought in John Franklin Myers, who plays that big end position.
Yeah.
And I actually think Bain could play that position, but now they have that.
Yes.
And do you draft the big end position at 4th overall? I don't know.
I don't know either. I know. Now, that'll be interesting to see what they do there too. You're right, because he could still be off the edge on the weak side and be a force.
Right.
That's what you do. And we can't underestimate his athletic ability there. Now, but will a team like Arizona and Nick Rallis, and he comes from the Eagles who like the bigger physical type of guys usually. Will he like him? I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see where he goes because I do think the arm length will scare some teams a little bit too from going maybe too high.
I think the Saints and Chiefs would have to take.
Yeah.
Like,
I would be shocked if he's a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day. That's it. It's just would somebody in the top 4 or 5 take him? I don't know. That's where I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
All right. So edge 2, Ruben Bain Jr. after Arvell Reese, who's edge 1. We got to round out top 5, top 6.
Yeah, we're doing top 5 today. I held it strong.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
No fence riding over
I think
here.
This next one's going to maybe surprise some people, so hang around.
Well, yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. All right, Edge rankings continue. Before we get to Edge 3, this one from AdMutt23, I ranked Simms and Rogers number 1 and number 2 draft analyzers coming out of University BR. That is our former coworker Adam Maluma, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Works on some incredible animated projects.
Yeah.
A lot of people watching probably remember Game of Zones.
Oh, what?
During that era,
I can't even believe. I'm glad
geniuses.
Geniuses. Funny as hell. Awesome dudes. I'm glad to see it. I mean, if they're watching, what's up, mofos? It's good to see you. But yeah, they were great. And like, that was prime when I was at Bleacher Report, them doing Game of Zones. And it was like, whoa, what are you guys working on now?
It was a big deal.
It was a huge deal.
Every time it was about to be released.
And they made it so funny and creative and knew all these inside jokes, and they couldn't have been better. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, man.
Always good to hear from some former coworkers at BR. Edge 3. We don't have to travel that far from Ruben Bain at Miami.
Yeah.
Because it's his teammate.
No, it's his teammate, and it's Akeem Mesidor. And I did not go into this process thinking I was going to make him number 3. And let me just say, too, it's close between him and David Bailey.
Same tier?
Same tier. I almost feel like I would either put all 4 guys in the same tier, the top 4, or I would maybe go Reese and Bain in tier 1, and then these 2 in tier 2 if I was going to maybe be nitpicky. But it's close here. And, again, it's the beauty of the eye of the beholder. And I think the reason I put Mesidor above David Bailey is, again, a little bit of something I just said. I feel like the overall better player is Mesidor.
Down by down.
Right, down by down. Mesidor, again, like we just talked about the other psycho from Miami in a good way, is a psycho too. and way more physical than I thought in TV watching during the year. I think that's the thing that jumped out to me. We talked about Bain playing the run. Messidor plays the run too. Messidor jumps in front of the train all the time. He doesn't give a damn either. And that to me was like, ooh, that takes it to another level. Then another guy where you go, wow, this is a really good first step. It might not be as quick and as twitchy as Arvell Reese. It's a little bit more elongated, but it covers ground. And he's a fluid, athletic mover right away. He's one you can turn the film on and go, oh, wow, well, he bends. He bends. It's the third play. I could see he bends. And that was an easy bend. Like, I know I'm going to, like, it's like he's going to be able to bend. So that's what you like about him. He does everything well. You talked about Bain's ability to see the ball carrier in the backfield and all that. Here's another guy where I don't know if it's Jason Taylor, if it's just instinctually to them or whatever, but they see where the ball is as they're being blocked and go attack it and pursue that way. Play strength is insane. I mean, damn, it feels like half his pass rushes are playing 3 technique, right?
Well, he's a converted D tackle.
Yeah, it's amazing. And he wins a lot in there, because he's got really good strength. I mean, he's a sneaky 260 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that too. And especially you see him next to Bain, and you're like, well, Bain's huge. How big is he? So, baseline there, he is an amazing football player with big-time potential as an NFL pass rusher.
It was incredible just how, like, him and Bain, when they throw their hands, it's with a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, some guys rush, and it's an exhausting sport. And it's like, okay.
They just go through the motions.
Every time they throw their hands, and you brought up Jason Taylor, which probably helped a lot. It's tactical. It's either in the right place, or they chop a hand down, or they have a counter.
He has counters.
He's actually better at countering at times than Bain.
I agree. He always had a second plan. It felt like, oh wait, they stopped my next thing. All right, I'm gonna give him I'm gonna punch him with my heavy hands and rip him through now and do that. Like, he had some stuff like that. His spin move's insane.
That's the experience.
Definitely,
he's played more football than everybody else.
His inside stab is really good. And again, we kind of said in this last week, the most impressive thing is the better the competition, the better he was.
Right.
His best games are against the best tackles. So, like, you don't have to, like, project a whole lot here with all that. He's disruptive in the run game. He sets the edge in the run game. He gets off blocks really well. I mean, he lays it on the effing line. That's what I want on my defense. I write, whose first step is better, Bain or Messidor? I don't. It was close. At first, I thought it was Messidor, like I told you all the way.
Yeah.
But then you watch Bain.
I liked Bain's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got obsessed with actually watching it, like with whoever I was watching. It's like, who's getting off first here?
Yeah.
Who is it? And then I'd be like, wait, which one am I watching here? Wait, okay, I'm watching Messidor. But either way, the bend is elite, right? I think his bend is up there with some of the maybe the best in the draft. And I write at this point, I go, he and Bain, I think, have the best bend. He can really dip inside that inside shoulder and get low. He's another one that can win with quicks and doing it that way, like we've talked about. Quicks, speed to power. Well, quicks to power, or quicks just to get on the edge of the guy, like he does at the 3 technique. And he's got enough strength where he's not blowing by him, but he just gets on the edge of the guard to go, you don't got enough of me. And now I'm going to kind of bring you back to the quarterback or slip around you and get to the quarterback. That's where I love him. Uses his hand well. Upper body strength's awesome. This is a complete awesome football player, and I wrote top 15 pick at the end here. I think he is that. I don't know. Do you view him as that highly as I do there?
It's close. Yeah. I don't have him this high in my edge rankings, but I liked him a lot more than I ever thought.
Yeah.
I liked, and we'll show mine. I had Zion Young from Missouri ahead of him.
I can understand that.
And who I just was a big fan of.
He's a man-child.
Right, that's how I looked at that one. We'll get
another one of those guys I feel like we overlook sometimes when we get into the draft because it's like not as sexy.
Right.
But the size and the power
NFL
to our
body.
question we got before, right? Those guys usually translate a little bit better to the NFL because there's no physical questions about them at all, right?
No, he plays how an NFL player is asked to play.
Yeah.
And that matters.
Exactly.
So, but he's going in the first round, despite that he'll be a 25-year-old rookie, which is all the combo around Messidor, and context is important. Biz613 said in the chat, Messidor is the same age as Will Anderson.
Yeah. Oh, but why do we give a shit? That's what I'm saying.
Well, the context matters to me.
Yeah.
So we talked to him at the Combine.
Yeah, right.
Born in Canada.
Yep.
Little harder to get identified in Canada.
Yeah.
He was at West Virginia. He was playing defensive tackle. when he lost the weight and moved to edge, it played better to all of his strengths, as you said, because he can turn the corner.
Yes.
He has the hand counters of a D tackle, but he has enough movement skills against the outside shoulder as an edge player.
Totally.
And that's what led to this. He's not like a phony breakout.
No.
Like, there are guys
He's
in the
a
draft
man.
that break out in year 6, and it's like, well, they're 24, 25, and they broke out because of this. Like, Messidor, there's a lot more nuance.
Yeah. I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah.
There is that. The context of that matters. And, yeah, he's early stages of becoming this physique you see here. He's a freak show. He's a freak show. The problem is we have other freak shows in this draft where he's just not going to quite get the credit for it. But go ahead. What were you
I'll tell
saying?
you a fit I really like.
Yeah.
I like Detroit for him.
Yeah, well, I could see that.
Because Detroit's always missing the guy across from Hutchinson.
Yeah,
and with Messidor, you don't have to wait. Like, pass rushers take a while to develop. Like, it might be year 3, and it's like, okay, he finally got to 10 sacks.
I think that's the positive thing about both the Miami guys.
They're ready to go.
They've already started their development because they've had Jason Taylor.
And the tackles they practice
against.
Maui
no
Noah
doubt.
on the right side, Markel Bell on the left side are both being drafted
They're beasts.
this year.
Yeah, beasts. So I'm with you there. Now, we get this question, and I see it here. People want to know. We hear heavy hands like anvils. People want to know what that is. It's a little bit like what we talk about with Arvell Reese or these guys we've talked about so far. When they put their hands on people, you can see like the person they put their hands on is like, oh gosh, and they can control them really easy. And there's a stun factor of when they do it. And that's what guys that have strong, big hands, yes, they can put them on you, and right away you just go, uh-oh, he's got me. And that's what you mean by heavy hands. That initial punch with the upper body along with the hands to it is enough to, stun the offensive tackle or pass protecting tight end or whatever. And that's what you mean by heavy hands. I hope I explained that well.
No, that's exactly right.
Add to it if you want
To me, it's the jolt.
Yeah, it's
like
the jolt.
What you don't want to be called is pillow hands. Like, if you ever hit someone with a pillow, like, it obviously does nothing to them. But if you have like anvil hands, obviously the context or the comparison is exactly what you think.
Yeah,
they're knocked
They're
off
heavy
balance.
as hell. Hands are the most underrated thing in all of sports. Michael Jordan was special because of his hands. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, special because they had gigantic hands, right? Now, I know we're not talking heavy hands, but hands are still a big part
control.
of it. It gets overlooked so much. You know, great boxers usually had heavy hands, people tell you. Big hands that were, when they hit you, you felt it. Baseball players. You meet a good home run hitting baseball player. You ever shook Willie Mays' hand? You ever shook Ken Griffey Jr.'s hand?
I have shook Ken Griffey Jr.'s hand.
And you're like, holy shit, no wonder you could swing and hold the bat and be like, on this like nothing. So, it's something that kind of gets overlooked because it's not a sexy subject, but a lot of the great athletes in the history of time, had hands that matched whatever they were doing in the sport.
Lucas Chiefs Lightning said, to the people who are worried about Messidor's age, when you draft a 21 to 22-year-old pass rusher, you hope they develop to be as good as complete as Messidor is.
That's right. And I didn't get the chance to finish that first question about the age, too, and when I said who gives a damn, and I don't mean to say that in a disrespectful way. I just go, again, the league is 3-year contracts. Who cares? We're getting him for 3 or 4 years. He's ready to go at an elite position, and you got to see him do it against elite competition and go, wait, there's really not a lot of projection here at all. You're getting, again, to me, one of the safer picks in the draft and a complete football player. So there's other ways for him to make an imprint on the defense as well. And that's where, I don't worry about that age. And then the way you laid out the context, too, I think it's going to make a lot of teams feel comfortable about him.
And also, when you look, I'm curious, and we don't have a ton of time to do it today, but like, there's a lot of 30-plus-year-olds in the top of the sacks categories from last year.
Yes. Usually these kind of guys, especially this day and age where they're starting to really be, Tom Brady, I'm going to be obsessed with my diet, my workout, all that and that. These guys are the freaks of freaks, as you can see by any of their pictures so far. You're just like, wait, is this one Adonis after another? And that with the training and everything they're doing now, I think we're gonna see pass rushers still be like Myles Garrett in their 30s, and you go, well, I don't think it's falling off anytime soon. He's going to be pretty good for the next 3 or 4 years still. And Danielle Hunter's probably getting there to that age, right? So,
Danielle Hunter is.
He is 30, 32.
Danielle Hunter is 31.
31. So,
turning 32 midseason.
So you look at that and you go, who cares? 25? That's 6 years down the road, 7 years down the road. Let's not worry about it.
I think it's a totally different argument if you were talking about corners, their legs go.
Yeah.
Wide receivers.
Exactly. That's right.
Their legs go.
Yes.
Like if I was drafting a 25-year-old corner, there's a chance by 29 he's already trending way down.
Uh-huh. I
It's
would
not.
agree with
It's
that.
not like that for pass rusher.
No,
it's
it's
not
not.
like that for O-line. Tyler Shuck last year.
Yeah.
He's too old. He's
Yeah,
too this. He's
right,
too that. Well, he got
right.
hurt in college.
Yeah.
You need more time.
Right.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
So it's not that it doesn't matter. It's that the context matters.
Yeah.
For each position, and Messidor is obviously one of the guys that rises above that.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Messidor. I know I'm probably a little higher on him, and like I said, we're going to talk about David Bailey here next. The difference to me, just a little bit with Messidor, was I just felt more comfortable with the versatility and the completeness of the player. And again, that's not taking away anything from David Bailey, because I really like David Bailey, and David Bailey made such an impression on me as a person that it hurt to even put him at number 4, because
Right.
I really like the guy. I know he's a smart, really good damn football player. But like we've talked about, this is a class that's pretty damn special, and it was hard ranking him.
Well, let me ask you like this: David Bailey's edge 4 for you from
Yeah.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
But edge 4 in this class, still a top 10 pick in your eyes.
Yes, I wrote
Right.
I wrote 5 through 15. I mean, I know. I mean, I'm realistic to know too, and I don't sit here and go, what I say is set in stone. I mean, I know other people might go, oh no, I kind of like what David Bailey does better than Messidor or Bain or whatever. It's one of those years. But regardless, yes, he is a guy that is in that range. Now, I will say when I got done watching, I went, I don't know if I feel like he's a top 5 talent. All right, that's something I wrote at the end of my and to me, because I kind of put top 5 in its own category at a time. You
Like
know
a
what I mean?
special.
It's like usually like you're a unicorn.
Yeah.
You're a unicorn. And I guess I just was like, I heard a lot of the hype. I didn't really get to study Texas Tech during the college football year. We never had a game that involved them. So I watched them off, through TV, and I guess maybe I was expecting maybe a little bit more. But realistically, this is still like an awesome football player. Another guy, twitchy as hell, has some of the attributes you talk about with Arvell Reese coming off the edge. The quickness, the explosion. He's got quick feet. I mean, you could see the way he moves. It's really twitchy that way. So, I love all that. I mean, that's incredible. He can win just by being quick or being able to cut on a dime, right? He can kind of take off upfield like we talked about, like Arvell or a receiver. He takes off upfield and he can put his foot in the ground and kind of do a shake and get the guy, leaning one way, and he gets to the quarterback. And to me, that's like something that goes overlooked, I think, even in the NFL too much, is the ability to kind of win with quicks and get people leaning one way to then go to power or get him leaning and then just beat him around the edge. But yeah, I love that about David Bailey. Now, bend-wise,
He's not the bendiest guy.
it's not the bendiest guy,
No.
right?
It's a little upright.
It's a little upright.
Yeah. Now he has an interesting build.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of muscle. He's got a good NFL body.
Yes.
I mean, 251 pounds, almost 34-inch arms.
The arms are great.
But
I doubt he was 251 during the year. I felt like
245,
legs are a little
240.
more thin
Yeah.
than the other guys too, which I put some stock into.
He also, the uniform aesthetic is very different.
Totally.
Well, you can see it right
Yeah,
here. He does the high cut pants.
High cut pants, no wristbands.
The cyclist pants.
And the jersey's kind of hanging out over it, so he does not look like your normal defense end on the film.
It looks like it takes him 23 seconds to get dressed for the game.
Yeah. He
Like
doesn't
there's
care.
no accessories. He's
No.
got the small. He likes the small shoulder pads with the trimmed, tailored sleeves.
He's cerebral. You know that. He went
Stanford
to
guy.
Stanford guy,
Yeah.
right? And you know that. So he's looking at it going, oh, that's nonsense. I'm just going to go out there and play. I don't give a damn about all this stuff, looking in the mirror and all that. But I'm glad to hear you say that. Yeah. So, Arvell Reese, at first I was like, oh, he's kind of like David Bailey. Like, it's quick, it's twitchy, I like all of that. And so I had to start digging with Arvell Reese. And then I start to dig, and you go, oh, wait,
can do it.
There's some plays with bend where you're like, that's Micah Parsons, or that's like Abdul Carter, or whatever. You go, that's incredible. So he can do it. Okay. Yeah. It's you don't see a ton of that with him. You might see a quick shoulder dip as he goes around the edge every now and then. But yes, I think that's to me, again, the overall size of the human and a little bit of the stiffness is why I probably put the 3 guys above him. I didn't think he could play the run quite the way those guys can.
I would agree with that.
He plays hard.
He tries.
He tries his
Yeah.
damnedest. He does. But he can't necessarily hold his ground and take on a guy and disengage and just go, oh, I'll make the tackle now, to the same capacity the other guys we've talked about. Those are the negatives. But damn, this is still a freaking awesome football player. And he's other than those things we're talking about right there, he's really damn elite in a lot of areas.
Something I loved about him is he might have the best. Like when he beats the blocker, his burst to the quarterback might be the best. In the draft. He converts hurries to sacks.
Yeah.
A lot of guys will generate a ton of hurries, but the quarterback can feel and see them, and they dip their shoulder, step up, and he got ran out of the arc. When David Bailey wins, you blink and he's tackling.
Well, he's got a little bit of that like Aiden Hutchinson where you were like, wait, it's not bending, but he's fast and he can stick his foot in the ground and make a left-hand turn and re-accelerate in such a way that you're talking about where you go, wow, like that's crazy, right? But, I worry about the bendability, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm big into being able to win into some awkward positions. I feel like he was a little less in that department, right? He wins with speed a lot. He does have that quick shoulder dip that I talked about to get around the edge. Plays hard, tough, physical, all those boxes. They're all checked. He can win with the quicks like we talked about. He's got incredible quick feet, can cut on a dime. Hands are pretty good. Again, it's not like it's the heaviest hands in the world, but it's good, and you see enough, and I think he's at least a beginner level, and there's more to grow there. But you don't have any problem with that at all. Pretty damn good spin move.
Yeah.
He does a very good spin
fast.
move. It's fast. He's got that for sure. Speed to power. Like I thought it was good, but again, not maybe what I thought to the other guy. What do you think in that
thought he
department?
does it to keep them honest.
That's what it feels like.
It's like when a guy that has no fastball comes into the game in the 8th inning and wants to throw 9 sliders. At some point, I have to throw a fastball or a changeup.
Yes.
I cannot just throw a slider every single time. He does it because it's setting up the next move.
So that to me was another thing where I just was like, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure, right? I see it a little, but you're right. It's not like to the other guys, you had no question about that, at least to that point, or at least to me. And then, at the end of the day, I wish he was a hair more violent and physical. I really like him. I wrote, this kid is awesome. He's a complete football player. He's a safe bet. I don't think he's a top 5 talent, but really can do it all. Wish he was a hair stronger and a hair more bendable. And then I wrote 5 through 15. So, yeah, I like David Bailey a lot, but again, this is a damn special group, and there was a few more concerns with him as compared to some of the other guys.
The good thing is, too, he's pretty battle-tested. They got to play Utah this year.
Yeah.
They got to play Arizona State, who has Maxie Honachor, who will be a second-round pick.
That's right.
There was a couple other good ones as well. So, obviously, they went up against Oregon, and he played really well in that game. Texas Tech's defense did everything they could in that game. I thought he rushes kind of like Nick Benito, where if you get him on an island, it's like isolation in basketball. He had a sack against Arizona State. I think they had the tight end try to block him, and he just kind of, with this twitchiness, worked around him.
Yeah.
Then he did a spin move against the left tackle and then sacked the quarterback. And it's like, he loves being in space.
Yeah, I think so too. And off of that, I'm glad you went there because that to me, okay, I wrote maybe he's not a top 5 pick, but again, I think he's a Seattle schemish type of guy. Where the other guys, I'd feel more comfortable if they had to play strong side DN,
right?
Or maybe do some other things that aren't just always pass rushing conducive. I feel like David Bailey is going to fit more into the, again, not that he can't do the other ones, but I think the Seattle scheme guys are going to like him more than not. That would be my assessment.
Yeah, and that would make a lot. Like get to attack, pin your ears back, attack. Maybe you have a bigger runway when you get to rush wider. That helps him a lot. That
would help him a lot. I think so. So I know you're a little higher than I
like
am.
him a lot.
Yeah,
but I don't think anything you said is off base.
Yeah,
like I'm betting on him despite not being able to bend. Because I think his feet are so good. A lot of guys have to bend because they have to. His feet are so good that tackles are already off balance that he doesn't always have to.
You could be right.
But, that's something that some teams won't like.
Yeah, I just worry about it. We'll see where it goes from there. But regardless, again, we're looking at a top-notch football player, and that's what we're 4 guys in here, and they're 4 to me. I go, I think they're top 15 picks.
Yeah.
And then that's where it was hard because we're going to talk about some other guys tomorrow where I go, damn, I don't know. They might end up going to the end of the first round, and we couldn't even make the graphic here.
Well, we got one more guy to go to round out this top 5 coming up right after this last break. All right, we're back to round out the top 5 edge players in Simms' rankings. But, man, top 5 just feels tough.
It feels tough.
Because top 10 feels tough.
Well, it is. And in full transparency, I mean, we're going to be talking about Zion Young here, number 5. He's going to be the guy. He's a first-round pick. I don't think there's going to be any doubt about that. The guys that we left off the list that, I just want to throw some love to, right? Malachi Lawrence at UCF. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he ends up in the first round. You think he definitely is.
He is edge 4 for me if you don't have Reese in the edge ranking.
Yeah.
So by yours, it would be 5 because I'd have Reese over him.
Got you.
I think he's going to sneak in. If not, he won't wait long on Friday
it won't
night.
wait long. But it's a guy I just feel like we got to say something about him.
Freakish.
Yeah, freakish. My guy at TJ Parker, right? Am I saying
TJ Parker from Clemson?
Parker from Clemson, another one.
Yep.
Where I'd go, I really like TJ Parker. I'm telling you, it's not sexy. It's more of the big power guy.
Yep.
But he's got bend and all that. So we'll break him down. But just wanted to show them a little love because I feel like there's some years, if we were here, we'd be like, no, they're definitely top 5. Like, they're top 5. This is just a special class this year.
So tomorrow we'll be live again at 10 a.m. We'll get to a lot of the not even honorable mentions, just guys that are really good in this class. Yeah. We'll talk about all of them. But to round out the top 5, I love that you have Zion Young at 5. I had him at 3. Opinions on him, it feels like, are just slowly ascending.
Well, yes. This is the sex appeal that we talk about sometimes. And it's not like you can watch TV all the time and go, wait, who's this guy just speed around the edge, right? And in college football, it can be that way to where, it doesn't pop. This is more of a, big specimen. This is one where you turn on the film and you're like, oh, okay, there he is. Like he's the guy that looks totally different than everybody else on the football field. In the SEC. Yeah, he's freak show looking. He's, I even write at one point, his body is really maybe Danielle Hunter, but even thicker than Danielle Hunter when it was coming out. And he's way more physical than Danielle Hunter was coming out of LSU. But the specimen, and then you go, okay, the specimen. But sometimes you see specimens like this, and you go, they could be big stiffs that you're like, I don't know if he can really play. You see right away with this guy, he's a good fluid athlete. Right? Has the twitch and all that. Physical as hell. And that's where, again, he's going in the first round. He's physical as hell. I mean, there's no negatives about him. He can play standout linebacker. He can play 3 technique. He can play head up on tackles and hang in there and 2 gap at times. So he can do all of that. You're not going to have any questions about that. He's comfortable in the scrum, like we always talk about. I mean, he's people hitting him, whatever. Get out of my way. I'm going to make the tackle. So that to me just shows again the instincts and loves football and the physicality of it. That's why I always talk about that scrum. Has good bend for 6'6". I thought better than David Bailey, the bend.
He tried.
He's not as quick as footed and not maybe as explosive and as twitchy as David Bailey.
It's not as upright, and he's 6'6".
Yeah, but I was kind of impressed with that. Has the speed to power of course, and his first step I thought was actually a little bit like I would say with like Bain. It's a little deceiving. It doesn't look sexy, but the more you watch it, you start to go, damn, that first step is covering a lot of ground.
Because they don't always let him.
They don't always let him.
Like there's a lot of plays with him where it's like head up, read, control the blocker.
That's where you got to sift through it.
He doesn't get the, hey, just get off the ball and go.
Wide and go.
Yeah, he doesn't get all that.
So and then that's where teams are going to love him that way. And that's where you got to sift through the draft a little bit. Because I know people look at stuff like that and go, oh, well, he didn't get after the quarterback here. He's not put in a spot to get after the quarterback. He's head up on the tackle. Like, Messidor or Bain, they never have to really do that. They always got to be out widerish a little bit on a passing situation nonetheless there. So, yeah, versus the run, I talked about it. Incredible. I mean, his incredible strength in the upper body. Another one of those guys that's got the heavy hands that we were just talking about a minute ago. He's going to be able to do all that, throw you out of the way, go get the ball, do that, gets in weird positions, right? I told you about Danielle Hunter. I just think he's even more physical than Danielle Hunter coming out. In a lot of ways, too, the way he plays it and how he's got the long arms, everything reminds me of Max Crosby to a degree. It kind of crossed my mind. So, yeah, this is another guy that I think you throw in here and go, wait, definite first rounder, freak of nature, floor is really high. Like, the worst this guy's going to be is like, oh, he's our starting defense end for the 7th year in a row.
Right.
You know, he doesn't get 12 sacks a year. He gets 9 or 8 or
Stops
whatever.
the run.
Exactly. But you might hit gold, and he might become Danielle Hunter, and you go, uh-oh, is he one of the best pass rushers in football? And that's where you love Zion Young.
Thought he was one of the best edge setters in the draft.
Totally.
He's just been asked to play a brand of football that relates so much to the pros. Back to your point about guys' bad plays.
Yeah.
His bad plays are totally fine. It's stalemate. Go back to the word that we said.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I'm big into that because if you're losing in college against, wait, this tackle's not getting drafted, or like what? Like what, you're doing that? Yeah, that just puts my antennas up a little bit because I go, hey, the tackle you're going to be playing next year in the NFL is going to be a lot better than that.
Right.
Right. So yeah. In football, we're all going to be humbled at some point. That's going to happen. But what does that humble look like? Remember Robert Kimdichie when he came out? Yeah. Everybody was like, oh, he's a freak.
Because his 5 best plays were as good as anyone else's.
Exactly.
5 best plays.
5 best plays. But I argued it at Bleacher Report at the time. I go, but his 10 worst plays, I go, he's on skates 20 yards down the field. I can't buy into that.
No.
Like, I can't. So, yeah, how bad is your negative? And that, to me, to your point of what you're bringing up, is, yeah, his negatives are just like, oh, okay, I'm staying right here. That's it. We're not moving. I didn't move you. You didn't move me. But I'm not out of position. And if the ball came here, I should still make the tackle. And, yeah, there's great value in that.
Bears at 25, to me, no brainer.
Oh, totally.
Perfect player for them.
That's
perfect player.
That would be a perfect player for them. Man, he'd met him with Montez Sweat. Similar body.
Right.
Montez can teach him a few things there.
Yeah, had to rush a little more.
I mean, big, long defense like that. That's a good call for you. That might actually happen. Dennis Allen would like him as
it's
a
kind of perfect Dennis
He's a
Allen
Cameron Jordan type of defensive end kind of guy. So that's a good one. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened.
James F5 in the chat is the president of the Zion Young fan club. At first, he said Zion Young could be the best edge in this draft. He's a steal if he goes in the second round. But then he said something that I think you bring this up a lot, Chris. He said if Zion Young played for Ohio State or Texas Tech, he'd be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. I totally hear you. He would definitely be more hype and viewed differently if he was on those football teams. But Beers, pass rusher, I think you get a pretty fair shot no matter what, at least from the league. You might not get the media hype all the time.
Yeah.
The Ohio States and that, they get a little more, Miami, they're going to get the more hype. And especially when you're good and you're in the national spotlight, and that all helps out a lot there. But I do think you can feel good about pass rushers for the most part where the evaluators in the league don't fall in that trap as much with pass rushers as they do receivers, right? Or like we talk about, like where they just go, oh, wait, look at him in this offense and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go, well, yeah, if you put this guy in this offense here, I'm telling you, it's going to look like that with that space and all that too. I feel like you get a more fair shake with this guy. But I think the big thing is like you talked about, because I write this at the end. I just go, I wish he got more plays where he could just, pass rush, get on the edge and really get after him. Right, because the more you watch, the more I was like, man, I'm getting more impressed with his get off and his speed around the corner, right? And I wrote, guys like this usually get better in the NFL. They realize how they have to play. They realize and learn a few tricks about using their hands and whatever else. And that's what happened with Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter, his college film, I think if you go back to it, you kind of go, I see the potential.
It wasn't,
I don't know.
like, dominant in any way, shape, or
but
form.
you get in the NFL locker room, and all of a sudden you're with all these alphas, and you're starting to wait. I just got to do that to make $20 million a year.
Right.
If I just be a little more physical or learn the inside stab move, if I just play a little harder, I can get $20 million a year. So you get that, and then in the NFL too. Usually with D-line, you're big boys now. You're all making money. You usually get a defensive line coach who's going to call you out. You're going to get called out if you're soft or don't play the right way or don't have their same intensity. So, yeah, he's a phenomenal football player, one of the safest guys. And, like I said, I just wish you get to see him a little bit more in some of those pass rush situations.
Something that helped a lot with that is he went to the Senior Bowl and he whooped everyone's ass in one-on-ones.
Yes.
Because it was like that was his chance.
Yes.
And you saw an inside move, which he doesn't always get. He got to do a little bit in college, but you get to see it in the one-on-ones. So I think that helped scouts and teams a lot. Like, oh, here he is at an all-star event, and he looks like the guy.
He looks like an all-star.
Yeah. So when you're the all-star at the all-star event.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's one that I'm wrong about, you're wrong about. Like, he's not even on the board at 25. Like,
Right,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, the NFL liked
the
him.
NFL liked him more
did.
than we think, and he went at 16 or 17, somewhere in there.
I'll say this: he had really big spring grades.
Yeah.
So when the scouting services do the grades, combination of teams, he was one of the guys higher on the list. When I watch him, that's why I watched him last summer. I'm like, damn, he's got big grades.
Yeah.
And he got so much better this year. So if that carried over, that teams like
Yeah.
him more than consensus media, it wouldn't be shocking. Zion Young's a really, really good player.
Good football player. NFL usually likes these guys more than the general draft public or the public altogether. All right, like we said, we got any more questions? We're good, right?
We're good. Let's close out with your rankings.
Oh, yeah, let's show it.
So here's your top 5.
Yep.
Arvell Reese takes both crowns, off-ball linebacker and edge. The Miami guys back-to-back.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain Jr. at 2, Akeem Messidor at 3, David Bailey at 4. Chris, you said that the tier for these guys is pretty tight.
Yeah.
Honestly. And then Zion Young at 5. We're going to get to a ton more names tomorrow. Some of those names, I'm sure, are on my top 15.
Yeah.
I did not rank Arvell Reese as an edge rusher. It'd be an argument for him being right at the top for me as well.
I got you. I got you.
I had David Bailey, Ruben Bain, Zion Young, Malachi Lawrence, Akeem Messidor.
Yeah.
So I think we see guys pretty close.
We're pretty close. Yeah. We're only, Messidor, we were 2 off. So
we didn't have like a big disagreement on anybody.
Nope.
But we're going to get to a lot of these names tomorrow.
Some really good guys to talk about here and get into the weeds a little bit about what they can do. And yeah, there's some players here. And it's the kind of year where you go, whew, I made a top 5, and some of the guys that aren't in my top 5, they could end up being like stars. And I'm going to be like, gosh, I can't believe it. But yes, it's an incredible group. We'll break some of that down tomorrow. It was hard on the tiers here. Arvell Reese, I'm taking a projection chance a little bit. Yep. I am. But I also wanted to just emphasize once again what I said during the linebacker rankings. The guy is phenomenal. I mean, it's just, to me, that's where I was like, you know what? I'm going to make him separate this year instead of just making him at one position and going, he can do this too. I just felt like I had seen enough through that linebacker process to go, no, okay, he's the number 1 stand-up linebacker, but I've seen a few plays at pass rush. I was doing stand-up linebacker where I went, whoa, what the hell? I didn't realize he could do that. And so, yeah, he might be a little bit more of a projection, but a projection I'm very comfortable with, that's for sure.
And it's not a crazy, thing to like. There's guys that have done it more recently.
Exactly.
We saw Micah do it. We saw Jalen Walker do it. There's other guys that have gotten that chance. So it's kind of in vogue a little bit in the NFL right now.
Totally, 100%. And I think that probably gave me the confidence to do it as well. All right, you know where to find us tomorrow, Thursday, 10 a.m., live YouTube page. We'll be here. Connor Rogers and I mean, look at him wearing his, you wore your...
Jackets are done.
Well, yeah, you wore like your Masters golf shirt over here. We're going to make fun tomorrow of Shanahan and LaFleur.
I held off today. I mean, they're not safe tomorrow.
They wore the same jacket to the interview, like they were the Backstreet Boys.
It looks so absurd.
So I had a lot of fun getting
Who did
on
it
that.
better?
We'll show that. We'll show that tomorrow and have some fun with that. You know where to find us. See you tomorrow. Subscribe, rate, review. Come back. All right. Have a good day. See you Thursday.